What's up, everybody? I'm Jason. This is Freeburg Garage, and today we are doing a walk around on this 1200S Sportster, and I'm going to tell you why this is one of the best Sportsters that you can buy. We got Adam's 1998 Sportster 1200S, not to be confused with the brand new 2022 Sportster S. This was the best Sportster S you could buy before today's day. Something that I feel like not enough attention came to this bike. Or maybe I don't know enough about the Sportster world, but I feel like I haven't heard enough about this until I saw Adam's bike. I think it is the best one that you can buy in today's world before the new one. So let's dive into it. Coming from the front, with the front forks being dual discs. Now, they did obviously have these on the Sportsters. I think the customs in the previous years had them, but this was a little more unique. The reason why is I'm going to show you right up top. Fully adjustable cartridge style forks. That was unique during 1998. Ahead of its time for Harley. It's not something that Harley was really considering in any of their cruisers, but because of one particular factor, and that is because of Buell. Buell was coming out with their XB12, their XB Lightning, and they needed some way to give its old cruiser Sportster line a bit of a performance upgrade. And that's the reason why the rest of the parts are going to reflect. So, diving right back into it, the motor itself, which they call a blonde style motor, and it has some unique touches that I think are very overlooked, that are very badass. This motor reflects from Buell. Now, the reason why is because the heads up here, these are Buell, and it's got 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So you got 1, 2, and then 3, 4 there. That is sweet. Now, it's not just for looks, it's not just cosmetics on here and appearances. That is because Harley, in the previous years to this bike, felt that the 1200 wasn't getting a smooth idle. So they wanted to smooth it out by adding a spark plug, and the reason why is that there was too much fuel, they believe, being left behind. So they wanted to eat up as much fuel as possible, so they added an extra spark plug, and they think it was the smoothest rollout that they could get on the Sportster. Plus, it bumped it up by 76 pounds of torque, and I believe right around 64 horsepower. And the previous years, or non-Sportster or 1200Ss, came with only 64 pounds of torque and right around 60 or 57 horsepower. So not much in the horsepower range, but a little more in the torque. Definitely an improvement and a bump up. Now the heads, of course, from here on out, essentially were on all the Sportsters, the Buell heads. The pinnacle, or the ideal of what Sportster was going to run now after that. All right, so working our way to the back here. One, the Saddleman seat. This is not stock, of course. This is by Adam. Adam put this on. It's a pretty comfortable seat. I love saddling. This is a great style seat, Adam. And it's supportive in the back here, and it just smooth lines with the bike. It's all blacked out. It's got a nice stitched up front with diamonds. It's got that nice tilt with the rear seat that matches the rear fender on it. Real smooth. Now, the shocks, they're in the rear. 1998. You have fully adjustable to match the front. Go figure, right? Well, 1998, of course, that was ahead of its time for Harley. There was already model bikes with the fully adjustable shocks left and right, but for Harley, dual shock in the rear and adjustable, whoo, that was big moves for them. But, which is real nice, is that it came stock with this bike. So if you were looking for something performance, you didn't have to spend more money. You were all set and ready to rip with this one. And it, of course, matches the same knobs and everything else as the front. Moving our way, wrapping it around. He also did like an aftermarket laydown plate here. Same tail light as factory. Tail lights are the exact same. The dual exhaust, the crossover pipe, that I believe is stock on here. That has not been changed from 1998, and it still looks pristine on this thing. Look at that. Not a single speck of rust in sight of this exhaust. And look at that motor. It is still all nicely finished. Nothing's been pitted out. Real nice condition. Also, I didn't mention for the heads here, now they're back on this side. The heads are obviously Buell. The way that they detuned it from Buell was right here, the jugs. Those jugs are different. The compression was way lower, obviously, than Buell. And of course, you know, the exhaust, they have an iPhone exhaust with Buell, model shock, a bunch of other stuff that made Buell a lot faster in its time. But that was the reasoning, you know, they wanted to detune it. Harley said we need to give our cruise line a performance upgrade, so that's why they created this motor for it. Now they said that they couldn't match Buell's numbers is because they thought that this bike would rattle and fall apart if it gained as much horsepower as the Buell of its time. All right, diving back into the parts though. Right here, these are rear pegs, of course, the RLS Touch that Adam added, and the Joker Machine foot pegs, or I guess you want to call them more floorboard style. They're really comfortable. I rode them. They're like really wide, nice, perfectly fit, but not too wide up at the front or rear. Matches the brake pedal here to there, I think, in my opinion. Obviously not the color, but the style of grooves, I think match well with that. And then of course, making our way up to the top here, we got drag bars that are not factory, that came from Adam, and 6-inch straight risers with the new custom dynamic mirrors that we put on the last couple videos. Front end is still all the same, that's all factory. And of course, the new horn cover is on there. All right, so I can go on and on about why Buell and them and everyone else, I'm sure everyone knows the story, it's days age old or whatever you want to call it. But for ridge mounted sporty, this is the best one I think you can buy. It's better than the rubber mount ones, in my opinion. I've seen over time now with guys that stunt bikes and that put them through their paces, and they love the ridge mount. They hold up better to the beating. Now, yes, the rubber mounted Sportsters give you that comfort feel when you ride down the road with less vibrations up to your bones and tailbone and head, to your neck, everything else. But this one gives you that raw Harley roaring, ripping feeling that I feel like you get the best bang for the buck. And the price that are out there, it's just too good. You can get a front cartridge, rear shocks, all done up if it's from factory, of course. If someone's redid all that, then I guess that's all out the window. But for its time, I mean, the FXDX came out and they were using the same style cartridges with longer shocks. Now, the rake in the front of this is about 29 degrees. And I believe, well, these are 12.5s in the rear end. So not as tall as everything else, but still it came with fully adjustable, which once again was ahead of its time when it became a thing for Harley. So definitely a Sportster that should be recommended more if you are looking for bikes out there in the used market. Of course, there's a new Sportster S, which pretty much blows everything out the water that Harley has ever created in the past. But this one, in my opinion, is one of the best Sportsters that you can buy in today's aftermarket or today's used market out there. That about wraps up for me on this one, guys. I would greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press that notification, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. For those that have already subscribed, thank you. And as always, stay free, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.